welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaelyn. I am a second year PhD student in History and African American Studies at Yale. Today we are starting spring semester off with a bang because I am starting comprehensive exam prep. So for those of you that don't know what comprehensive exams are, it's kind of an American phenomenon in our PhD system. But for history PhDs, you have a reading list which includes either 3 or 4 lists that you have with individual committee members. I personally have 3 lists. I have one on early America and the colonial period, as well as early modern England. And my second list is Atlantic world slavery. And then the third one is Black women's history of the United States, starting from basically 1619 to 1970-ish. Today, I actually have a meeting with one of my committee members. We are technically online for the first 2 weeks here at Yale for spring semester, but I'm gonna have my one meeting with him in person. My other committee member, I'm gonna be meeting on Zoom, and then I imagine I'll be meeting my advisor on Zoom because we're meeting at 5 p.m. on Fridays, and so I imagine none of us necessarily want to be on campus when it's pitch black out. So I am just going to go ahead and eat my breakfast, get the day started, get some admin out of the way, and then I have to jump on a call with Maya and then do some readings to prepare for this afternoon. But started off the day listening to some Ella Fitzgerald and Nat King Cole to get the mood just right. Made up some scrambled eggs and a latte. Let's go ahead and get this day started. I just wanted to drop in with a quick message from today's sponsor, which is Ana Luisa. You guys know I've been wearing Ana Luisa jewelry for the past several months, and I have a long-term collaboration with them, and I just love, love, love their products. I wear their jewelry every single day because I wear my rings and my bracelets even in the shower, and I just think the quality is fantastic. They also have such a wide array of different types of pieces, and if you've been watching my videos for a while, then you've seen a couple of them. One of the pieces I wanted to show you today is this stacked necklace. One of the things that I love the most about it is that I love stacking the Ana Luisa necklaces, and this just comes pre-stacked for you, and I just think it's really pretty and dainty, but it also goes well with kind of a casual everyday outfit. And then I have other pieces that I think are a little bit more feminine, a little bit more dainty, and they look better with, for example, slightly more formal attire. I also have on 3 of their bracelets. This one I've had since the very first month that I began working with Ana Luisa. It's just got this little gem in the center, and it has stayed on my wrist, I think, for the last 8 months or so, and I think that it looks so good. There's no wear on it, and it doesn't leave a residue or anything. I think it's just such good, high quality jewelry for such an affordable price point. And then over on my left wrist, I have my entwined ring bracelet, which I've been wearing for the past, I think, 2 or 3 months. And again, doesn't seem to have any signs of wear. And I wear it in the shower, I don't take it off. And then I just got this one, which has a little gem in the center and also has that really thin gold chain to match the other one. And then on my finger, I have my crescent ring. This is a mini crescent ring. It is a little bit trendy, but I like that it's an affordable piece that goes with just about everything. I never take it off. The only time I'll take it off is if I have to wash my hair because I'm worried it's gonna fall off my finger because it's a little bit loose. But I just think it's so beautiful and it goes with everything. I pair it with this ring that my grandmother got me, and I just think that they look so good together. And then of course I have on my necklaces, and then for more formal events I'll wear earrings. I love Ana Luisa's pieces. They are ethically sourced, and I think that they are at an incredible price point. For Valentine's Day, they're actually doing a buy one, get one 40% off, which is excellent because if you wanted to buy a piece, for example, for your mother or your sister or a friend, then I think that this is an excellent way to show your appreciation for them, as well as to buy a little something for yourself over at Ana Luisa. So thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Let's go ahead and get back into this vlog. All right, it is a bit later. I am currently working on some readings and getting things ready for my meeting this afternoon. I have some chili that I made yesterday. It is the white chicken chili from Half Baked Harvest. One of the best recipes I've ever tried. And I am currently populating all of my notes into my new Notion template, and I will have gone over this in my Notion video. If that video is not up yet, then there will be Notion templates available on the Accepted Society website. So if you want to have access to those, then the link will be down below. But I'm currently populating everything into the different categories for my notes for each book. Currently, I'm working on Providence Island, the Other Puritan Colony by Karen Kupperman. I am gonna go ahead and FaceTime with Danielle really quick because she just called us, and then I'll check in a little bit later when I actually head over to campus. Hello. Good, how are you today? So I'm gonna go ahead and, I'll be here, but I'm gonna kind of like let Maya run the show, and then if there's anything any specific questions you have for me, or if there's anything that I want to add, then we'll figure that out as we go along. All right, had my meeting. It went so well, which is shocking considering I felt so insecure right before going to this meeting. I'm actually really excited. It's just really fun to get to just hang out with people that are in my subject area and just talk about the literature. And I actually knew a lot more and can speak to a lot more than I thought I was going to be able to. So I'm feeling so much better, but I also got some good tips from my committee member on how to go about the readings. So I'll enlighten you guys on that when I get home, but I'm walking down the main thoroughfare on campus and I'm headed home, and it's quite chilly and my hand is freezing. I feel like someone's eventually gonna comment on the fact that I just keep wearing this sweatsuit. I am back. It's been a couple hours. I had dinner, Chanel had Zoom class, and then we watched the first 2 episodes of season 3 of Too Hot to Handle. Best reality TV show out there, honestly. But now it is time to work. So we have had a bit of a treat. We had some crepes, and now I'm sitting down at my desk and it is time to get some readings done. I need to revise one of my comps lists. Currently it's a bit more chronological, but I am going to try to sort it based on kind of theoretical frameworks or approaches. So for example, looking at childhood or looking at labor, or specifically like reproductive labor, and kind of sort it that way and then send it off to one of my committee members and then get some readings done because I have a meeting with them on Wednesday, except I need to email them because I think the meeting that we have scheduled technically conflicts with one of the classes that I have to be in. I need to email them and do a little bit of work on my proposal. I need to get some admin done. I have a ton of emails that I need to respond to. I also need to make some updates to my personal website because I have some projects that I'm working on over there. So lots to get done this evening. It might not all get done, but I'm gonna do my best and see what we can accomplish. And then tomorrow to get up very early for a doctor's appointment. So that is the update. Time to get to work. I think I've officially overwhelmed myself. I went ahead and made up my massive to-do list. I checked some things off. I need to talk to Katie tomorrow about the content plan and strategy because I'm still very hands-on in the content planning of Accepted Consulting and Accepted Society, and I need to figure out a way to offset some of that time because I just spent like 40 minutes looking at TikTok and Reels content that I want others on the team to recreate for our social media pages, and then sent out calendar invites and all of that stuff with the links and reference to the sounds that people need to use and all that stuff. So got that done. I went ahead and revised my comprehensive exam list for Black women's history and recategorized it into different kind of thematic trends within the historiography, sent it off to my committee member, and I also need to reschedule with her. So waiting to hear back. Obviously I emailed her at like 1 in the morning, so not gonna hear back until tomorrow. I also emailed my other committee member, my advisor, and gave him the list of readings for the next meeting that we have. I need to get a fellowship application pulled together for him. I did a little bit of digging into the different ones that I'm applying for. All of them are kind of due in like March through May, so there's still plenty of time, but I just want to make sure that he has enough time to read it, revise it, and send it back for edits and all that stuff. So getting all of that put together and figuring out the reading list and everything. I'm doing well. It's a lot. Figure it out, but it is now 2 in the morning. I have an appointment at 8, so I'm gonna go try to get a couple hours of sleep so that way I can be a functional human being tomorrow. And see you all in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I did not film yesterday. Honestly, had a bit of a unproductive day yesterday. I was just really tired because we stayed up way too late the night before, and yesterday was a bit of a wash, so we decided to go to bed early. And we are up this morning. I have to study for my French class, and I also need to prep and read for my comprehensive exams. I'm going to be doing my readings on Black women in America, and I think what I'm going to start with is an article by Darlene Clark Hine, then move on to some of this literature by Jennifer Morgan and Kathleen Brown. So that's my plan so far this morning. I'm just going to go ahead and honestly just get straight to work. I've got my latte in hand, and we're about to have a good, productive day. What just happened?
We just got another member.
We did not.
Yes, we did.
That's insane. So each day we've been hitting crazy goals for Acceptance Society. I was really worried when we ended up doing the relaunch onto the new website that we weren't gonna get as many members as we previously had. And I originally thought that we could maybe get 46 because I thought that 50 was like not an achievable number. And now we have 69. That's absolutely insane. We already are having conversations about how we're gonna need to potentially hire another person. And Danielle and I officially incorporated it over the weekend. And one of the best things about Acceptance Society is that majority of the events that we put together, especially the accountability workshops and whatnot, are just ways for us to get work done too. And so it's just so freaking cool. But I'm gonna go back to reading now. I have been suffering trying to get through my French homework in preparation for the first class today. I am not good with languages. I kind of feel about languages the way I feel about math, which is that it's just an equation that I have no comprehension of and my brain does not understand how to compute. But I promised you while I was walking home the other day that I would talk a little bit about what my professor recommended in terms of reading. He basically said that you are not meant to read every book cover to cover. There are gonna be some books on the list that you do end up wanting to read cover to cover because it's more relevant to your subject, but the ones that you just need a general understanding of, to read the introduction, read the first 2 or 3 pages of a chapter, the last 2 or 3 pages of the chapter, and then to write a summary of each chapter and each general kind of like section of the book, and then read the conclusion and just get a good sense of what the argument is. However, he tends to ask really specific questions, and so I don't see how I can necessarily follow that method and effectively answer the types of questions that he tends to ask. And so now my approach is going to be that the books that I think I am going to need to know really well. So for example, American Slavery, American Freedom by Edmund Morgan, Sugar and Slaves, Slavery and Capitalism, this book, like Laboring Women by Jennifer Morgan. These books I need to know like the back of my hand, not only because I focus primarily on slavery in the Atlantic world in the 17th and 18th century, but also because it is relevant to my research. And I imagine majority of the questions for my oral exams will kind of focus on the things that relate to my eventual dissertation. But the pieces that aren't as relevant to my research and that play a little bit more into my general knowledge of the time period or the subject or the thematic kind of underpinnings of the historiography, then what I'm going to do is read through the text, kind of skimming and looking for sections that I think are relevant to my research and are relevant to my understanding. I am just concerned that some of the questions are going to be really narrow. He asked a particular question about the environmental and social / political impacts of beaver hunting versus the introduction of the pig in colonial New England. I would not know how to answer that question unless I actually did the reading. So there's stuff like that where I'm still kind of navigating what my process is gonna be, but I think I have a general idea now, and the meeting the other day went really well, and I was actually quite surprised. There was a lot that I knew because I've taken early American history for the last several years. I could kind of infer the direction that he wanted us to go and the way to answer those questions. But if somebody were to ask me specifically, well, who argued that, that would be a really hard question for me to answer, because a majority of the things that he was asking, I was essentially inferring or was referring directly to Edmund Morgan and his arguments about why the British colonized North America, specifically Virginia. So that is my little update. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep working on my French homework. Pray for me. It is now 1 in the morning. Chanel ran the accountability workshop for Accepted Society, and I started doing reading, and then got hung up watching Too Hot to Handle, and I think there's mascara running down the side of my face. But I'm running the accountability workshop tomorrow from 10 to 1, so plenty of time to work on comps reading. And I'm gonna go ahead and peace out for the night. See you tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It's now Thursday. I am currently working on reading Jennifer Morgan's Laboring Women, Reproduction and Gender in New World Slavery. I read this back when I was in college. I need to read it really thoroughly because I'm actually reading it specifically for my dissertation in addition to my comprehensive exams. So while I'm going through certain texts, if they are relevant to my actual prospectus or dissertation, I actually have a dissertation planner in Notion where I'm starting to kind of flesh out my ideas for the eventual dissertation. And so it includes things like my early ideas with the thesis question, evidence, method, scholarly intervention. I have a literature review section and a primary source section. And there's this one footnote where she's talking about the mortality rates of children and basically saying that there's kind of a delayed connection or intimacy that a parent has with their children in the colonial period, but specifically under the conditions of slavery because of the high mortality rates. And she references this article called Mother Love and Infant Death. That's something that I just want to look into further. So as I'm reading, if I come across something that I think might be relevant later on, I'm putting it into my lit review database of sorts for my dissertation. So that way, when I do have to come up with a bibliography this summer and I'm working on the prospectus, I already have a list. And so there's one place where all of the sources that I want to dig into exist, and where the notes for the things that I have already read is also already populated. So that's just kind of my organizational method at the moment. I know that might not make a ton of sense, but I am slowly kind of trying to figure out the systems that work for me. I'm still trying to figure out the use of citation softwares. I personally don't find them super useful because for me, my organizational pattern is to actually write the title, write the name of the author, and then write the citation in my database rather than just kind of throwing the PDF file into, say, Zotero and having it populate it for me. It's also because I don't use Word, and so I don't have an immediate plugin, and so I would still have to go into the app and copy paste the citation anyway. So to me, it's just easier for me to write them down. I know that might not make sense to some of you, but that's just this method that works for me and my brain. But I'm gonna go ahead and continue reading. I'm currently running the accountability workshop for Acceptance Society. We have a session this morning, and then we have the happy hour this evening, and then Danielle's running a session. So lots of Acceptance Society related stuff going on today, which means that I can get a lot of my work done. And I'm just gonna keep on chugging away. Got my oat milk latte in hand. Let's keep on going. Hello, how are you today? I'm good. So I have two separate businesses. So I've got Accepted Consulting. We focus primarily on graduate school and transfer admissions from community college, as well as scholarships and other forms of funding in the US and the UK. We also do some programs in the EU. Yeah, grab your cup of tea or grab a coffee, because it's a long, winding road on my way to the PhD. I, as a child, was very invested in wanting to ride horses professionally. From the age of 4, always said that that's what I wanted to do. Pretty much the only subject in school that I had any attention span for was history. And other than that, I was essentially checked out and only was thinking about horses all the time. When I was in high school, I actually had a riding accident, but the one thing that I really wanted was to continue riding horses. It was really getting back into riding. That for me was my way of having some control. Chanel and I are out taking a cold girl walk to go get boba because we have not left the apartment today and it is needed. Just got done recording a podcast with PhD Life Raft, and it was really fun. I got to meet Emma, and now we are gonna go get boba over at Tea Leaf and then come back. I've got to prepare the slide deck for the Accepted All Hands meeting and then do the Accepted All Hands meeting and then finish up some reading for the day. That is the plan. So we're gonna go get some boba and enjoy this icy cold weather.
Curious? These are all the hot things that we offer right here.
Just got off happy hour for Acceptance Society, and I got all of the slides for the slide deck done for the all hands meeting for Accepted, and I'm about to go ahead and start up the Zoom, and I'll get some behind the scenes shots because you guys seemed to like that last time. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do the whole January in review up to this point. Obviously, it's not exactly the end of the month, but we'll send a summary out to you all at the end of the month with all the final numbers and all of that. Overall traffic to the website was actually quite good this month. One thing that we'll talk a little bit about is where the traffic is coming from.
Reach, engagement, and total followers has been up. We're almost at 1,500 followers on the Instagram, by the way, which is very exciting.
So we had 46 signups so far in January. Good morning, everyone. It is now Friday. I was gonna film last night, but then I was doing the clip and my camera died. I finished up the meeting for Accepted, then joined Danielle's accountability workshop for Accepted Society and was working on a proposal for some fellowships that I'm applying for. There's 2 in particular that I'm applying for through Yale, and both of them are pre-doctoral, so it means that even before you are technically a PhD candidate, you are allowed to apply in order to do some preliminary archival work in preparation for the prospectus. So the prospectus is something that you submit in preparation for the dissertation. I am hoping to go to London this summer to go do archival work at the National Archives, maybe the British Library, and then definitely at the Bodleian at Oxford. So I am applying for funding so that way hopefully I don't have to fund it myself. And I'm just feeling a bit of imposter syndrome while writing it because I can talk about my ideas all day long, but seeing it on paper and having to answer the question of why is this relevant is a whole other story, and I have to send it off to my advisor as soon as possible so that way he can read it and send me back notes, and then we can make the edits and he can write his letter of recommendation. It's just a lot, but I am slowly working through it, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that in an upcoming video. But I am actually going to go ahead and end off today's vlog because I would ideally like to do some filming over the weekend, and I have a bunch of videos that I'm working on for my channel because we just hit 24,000 subscribers today, which is insane, and I want to make sure that I'm producing content that I know you guys will appreciate. So for example, I knew for a really long time that people wanted the iPad notes video, and it's been performing really well, a lot better than I was expecting, honestly. Now my goal is to also produce some others about how to read. I also have another video on like study tips and productivity, so those things are on the way. But I'm gonna go ahead and end off today's vlog. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I know that it was mostly a work from home scenario, but I have a lot of fun things coming in the next couple of vlogs. I'm gonna do some little apartment updates, and I will be heading back onto campus. I'm going to start working on campus 3 days a week. I have added it into my schedule, and I figured out a way so that way I can actually stay on campus. So taking you guys along for that journey, and I will see you all next time. Thanks everyone. Hope you have a wonderful day.